Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. The Republican hoping to be Texas' next governor laid out the second phase of his education plan this week. Greg Abbott announced his platform near Houston. It included conservative principles like turning control over to districts instead of statewide mandates. Abbott also wants schools held accountable for student success. Last summer, lawmakers created an A to F grade for districts. Abbott wants that expanded.
Our children are taught in schools rather than school districts. So I believe we should extend the A through F rating system to the campus level so parents know how well their child's school is performing.
Democrats, including Abbott's opponent Wendy Davis, pointed out one irony that Abbott released his plan in Spring Branch ISD. That district and dozens of others are suing the state over education cuts made in 2011. Abbott's office is defending the state in that lawsuit. Next month, voters in Texas will decide which Republican will be on the ballot for lieutenant governor. It's been one of the most contentious primaries in years, with incumbent David Dewhurst and State Senator Dan Patrick heading into a May 27th runoff. The winner will face Democrat Leticia Vandepute in November. Both Republicans will face off in a debate Friday night at 7. We plan to stream that debate live on KXAN.com. Governor Rick Perry visited New York this week to court businesses to move to Texas, one of the topics for what to do in the future in Texas. A state House committee reviewed the Texas Enterprise Fund and Emerging Technology Fund. Those give millions in taxpayer dollars to private companies to expand, but they are about to run out of cash. House members want to know if those programs actually brought in jobs as they decide whether to continue it. When Governor Perry's term ends, the state's incentive program will be handled by the Chamber of Commerce instead of the governor's office. Lawmakers may look to change specifics of the program, like how long the state has to respond to interested companies. They have 90 days right now. Other states only wait 2 weeks. By the way, trips by the governor have been going on since early last year to California, Missouri, Illinois, Maryland, Connecticut, and New York, trying to lure other businesses to Texas. Lawmakers also tackled another big economic issue, too, looking at our water resources limited in the drought. Governor Perry's chief economic development advisor said some foreign chemicals companies may need a lot of water.
I hear that question all the time. I hear, tell me about where you're getting your water from, where we get our water from, what do we have to do. But that last part is real. They're willing to invest in it. They don't just expect it to be given to them.
But don't expect any of that water. Jonathan Taylor says companies likely wouldn't be willing to pay for water infrastructure if they have to share. Nearly 6 months ago, Texas voters approved putting aside $2 billion for water infrastructure. Most of the work remains in the planning and talking and rulemaking stage. In Austin, the Texas Water Development Board wants to have regional wish lists by September. They will develop guidelines of how to spend the money by December. Even with that fund, water will continue to be in short supply for all of Central Texas. The community of Spicewood Beach has had much worse than most, with no source of water for nearly 2 years, and they're still waiting. KXAN's Ignacio Garcia found out despite plans for a well, the city continues to truck in water.
Is this the drywood? Chuck Homer's side business as a handyman has suffered since many of his Spicewood Beach customers have moved away. He says it's because the water trucks are still here.
We still see the water trucks twice a day coming by here and filling up the tanks out there.
Is that frustrating for you?
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Spicewood Beach ran out of water 2 years ago. Trucks hauling in water every day. But Corix, the company contracted to supply water to Spicewood Beach, hasn't been able to get the water flowing. There are 2 units back here that were supposed to be treating about 330 gallons of water every day from Lake Travis. But they were supposed to be built weeks ago. They're still not finished. Chuck says the project hasn't moved fast enough.
They haven't done anything, they've said, other than starting the plant and starting building it, but it's not any closer than it was 6 months ago.
But it appears Chuck will have to deal with trucked in water for a little while longer.
A lot of the locals that are from here, they all have faith that they're going to restore the water problems out there.
You believe it?
It's been 2 years. No, I don't believe it.
Corix hopes to have well water flowing by the end of May. In Spicewood Beach, Ignacio Garcia, KXAN News.
Corix, the company contracted to supply Spicewood Beach's water, says they were delayed getting the well designs approved by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. The drought will affect all of us before it's over, even if you have water. We told you the LCRA was planning water rate increases. Now we know exactly how much. Under the proposal, the rate city utilities pay for LCRA water will jump 16% this year, with 3% increases each year through 2019. For farmers downstream, the rate hike is even sharper, as much as a 91% increase. The LCRA says even with those increases, they can't cover all of their costs. Those farmers pay a lot less for every gallon of water than cities do. Still, some, like Horseshoe Bay Senator Troy Frazier, criticized the hikes as the new LCRA general manager took a pay raise. Our media partners, the Texas Tribune, reported that Phil Wilson will be paid about $425,000, about $30,000 more than his predecessor, Becky Motal. Wilson is also earning about $133,000 more than he did at his previous job, executive director of TxDOT, where he managed a bigger team and a much bigger budget. Ahead, we'll hear from Senator Frazier as he joins us in the studio when State of Texas In Depth returns.